This is Mark Bell from supertraining.tv. Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. There you saw Janet Lavelle doing some squats. She's trying to get used to her suit again. Here we got Riley doing some squats. Got about 425 on there or so, 415. Got Chris working in his suit. A lot of these guys are preparing for our meet that we have at the end of May. And they're kind of testing out their gear and testing out their depth and kind of just seeing where they're at. And no better way to see where you're at than just to go ahead and do it. And that's what these guys did on this day. Chris always has good depth. He's able to force his knees out real well. Janet tends to struggle with her depth in the gym, and then normally on meet day she's normally okay. There's my chubby little self going with some raw squats as I worked up. I did a Thompson style squat workout on this day. There's Silent Mike. Here's Chris going again. You can see even as he gets towards the bottom of that squat, he's still able to force his knees out pretty well. Still able to keep his chest up pretty good. He just has some pretty good mobility through his hips. There's Riley getting in a nice strong double there. There's Silent Mike going again. Silent Mike could have possibly dipped that one down a little lower just to make sure he got it in there. There's Ryan Cove. Ryan Cove always has pretty good form. Got a couple things to work on him with in terms of kind of how he carries that barbell. I'll kind of point some of those things out as we move along here in the workout. Here's David butt squish going. See how David on that first one didn't do a true box squat. He didn't really sit back into it. He didn't really sit down on the box. He kind of cheated. Here's my chubby little self going. You can see we have the band on there. We have the band also around a tensor. The tensor makes the band even tighter. It just takes up more circumference of the band, making the bands even stronger at the top of the lift and tighter at the bottom actually too, which I think is a key component to the bands, having them be tight at both the bottom and the top. The bands help to accommodate resistance. They help to teach your body to produce more force. Chains do something similar, but the chains will also work your stabilizer muscles, as they just require a little bit more brute strength and stability. The bands, or the chains rather, will oftentimes make you move kind of slow, and because of that reason. There's Chris getting in a pretty good squat there. That's around 430, 440, somewhere in that range. And the chain, or with the bands, you can move. You should be moving fairly fast, and sometimes certain amounts of band tension will actually help create some stability for you, which is not always a good effect to have. But that's kind of part of the reason why we got a band and a chain on here. So we got to a certain weight with the bands and the chains on there, and simply added one chain per set. I performed 5 sets of 2 reps, and just kept adding a chain per set, and then did a few heavy singles. I did 2 heavy singles. Form's pretty good there. I look a little bit off in terms of the way my right knee is going out, my left knee is going out. Also just a little dysfunction through the upper body. Got to work on stretching those shoulders and getting some mobility work in, so I can keep that barbell real even. Here's Janet Lavelle going in her briefs and her Leviathan squat suit there. You can see she's really struggling to get down. Janet is one of those people who, she does really well off the box in briefs. She'll do really well in her suit with her straps down. But none of those things matter. If you're a geared lifter, the only thing that matters is what happens when you put your straps up and you're called upon to do your 3 lifts in the meet. Those are the only things that matter. If you squat 500 pounds here's Lisa Lindhurst going. She's a little high on that one, but she took her next squat down a little lower, if I remember correctly. Not sure if we have that on video or not. Ryan Cove getting a good one. But I was going to say is if you can do 500 off a box and a pair of briefs, and then you go to a meet and you squat 520 or even 550, that's not good. That's not the way it should be. You want to get more out of less. You don't want to have to be squatting so heavy in the gym. I tell people all the time I can get a lot out of squatting 4 plates. 4 or 5 plates a lot of times is good enough for me. especially when I modify the exercise and make it harder like I did on this day. I only get up to around 525 pounds, but I'm expecting myself to squat 1100 plus at this next meet. And I think if you're having trouble with your straps up, then you have to have your suit on. There's going to have to be a point in time where you get used to it. Dave Hoff does the chain squats where he squats down into the chains. Some other guys like to do reverse band. Some other guys just like to do regular squats with their straps up. But whatever way you have to do it, you're going to have to learn it sooner or later, so you might as well start to learn it. I think if you're making the choice to do multiply, then why not go full bore, go all the way. Getting all your gear, getting all your shit, get your knee wraps on and push it. A lot of times when you start to get into all this gear, it's not just about getting stronger. Sometimes a combination of getting stronger and getting better. Oftentimes you'll hear stories of guys, going into meets banged up, and they perform better than they ever expected. Sometimes even breaking a world record. So you really got to learn your gear. You got to be confident in that gear. A little bit better squat there by Ryan Cove, but that bar's just kind of rolling on him quite a bit. Here's Janet getting stuck again. Whenever you're back in your suit, and it's been a while since you've been in your suit, just write it off as a shitty day before you ever get to the gym. Just kind of realize that it's going to be a little rough. This is a good strong single by my chubby self. Here's a good strong single from Mr. Robot Pants. But if you haven't been in your gear in a while and you're just jumping back into it, kind of just go in with some low expectations. You don't want to be a puss about it. You don't want to be a wimp about it. At the same time, you got to just realize you're a little bit out of practice. I think that was around 525 right there. Here's Mr. Robot Pants going. Check out the face he makes on this one. Oh my God. Kid's got anger management issues. Speaking of faces, look at Mr. Big Bird. He looks like he just came from Faces. Here's what's this guy's name? Shit, I can't remember. I can't remember this guy. This guy is so small, I have trouble keeping track of him. Here's Mr. Big Bird going again with his yellow feathers. Good strong squat by him. He's going to kill me for saying this, but this is a guy who survived cancer twice, kicked cancer in the face a couple times, and there he is kicking some ass in the gym. There's Spence. He struggled with his depth on this day a little bit, or quite a bit rather. This is around 680, 685, which is about the most he's ever squatted in a meet. Handles it well, but just again had trouble with depth. And that is it from supertraining.tv.